Today, my name is Dignity Lagunay, and our group is composed of Mr. Jansen Gakit, Ms. Charry Giltendez, Ms. Ella Goco, Mr. Teejay Gordoncillo, Mr. Ian Giovanni Hall, Ms. Xelianne Jaculbe, and Mr. Shemiah Jo. And we'll be reporting Chapter 5 of our book entitled Marketing Research Techniques for Product and Service Development. So we'll be going over the following four main topics. First, we'll be defining market research. Second, we'll be understanding the market research process. Third, we'll be categorizing the hierarchy of new service development. And lastly, we'll be analyzing the key factors to achieve success in new service development. So why are we studying market research? It is because essentially market research is a tool that helps us to answer the following fundamental questions. First, is there a gap in the market? Second, how large is that gap in the market? Third, how can we bridge that gap in the market? And fourth, lastly, is that bridge we're making going to be profitable? With that, we'll be going over to the next speaker. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Goco, and today I'll be talking about market research. What is a market research? It is a process of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting information about the market. This provides insights into what a consumers are looking for in a product or a service. This helps businesses tailor their offerings to meet these expectations. Now, by providing insights into consumer behavior, preferences, and market demand, market research helps the businesses designs the product and the service that meets the customer's needs. Now, I will give you an example of a market research. Now, for example, product development for a beverage company. So, product development, existing and new. So objective here is a beverage company wants to launch a new energy drink to target a healthy conscious millennials. Now the market research approach here is to conduct surveys and focus on the groups to gather opinions on what flavors, ingredients, and preferred packaging for the millennials. Now, also, use of social media is a listening tool to see what health trends are being discussed among those millennials. Now, what is the outcome of this? Findings might reveal that the target audience prefer natural ingredients and low sugar content. Now, the company can then develop a product tailored to these preferences, increasing the likelihood of success. So that is an example of a product development for the beverage company. Okay, now let's talk about marketing research process. As you can see in the PowerPoint presentation, there are steps actually in marketing research process. The first one, step one, let's first define it. Define the customer's problem. Now, what is our purpose when we want to define the customer's problem? The purpose here is we want to identify what you want to solve or to understand about your customers or what your customers want. Now, for example, let's have an example here in the steps. Example, a coffee shop notice fewer younger customers visiting and wants to understand why. Now define the problem. The problem here is the shop noticed that there are fewer younger customers in their coffee shop. Now let's proceed to step 2. Step 2 is determine the information needed. Now what's the purpose of determining the information needed? We already have a problem. Now let's determine the information needed. Now the purpose here is that we will decide what specific information that would actually help solve the problem. Going back to step 1. Now, example again. Let's go back to the coffee shop. The coffee shop needs to know young customer preferences for coffee, their reason for not visiting, and what would attract them. Now, the information. Now, the information here is that you want to know what are the young consumers or customers wants on a coffee. Now, step 3. Let's proceed to step 3. Step 3 is select the customer's segments. Now, what would you actually select on a customer segment? Now, the purpose here is that you need to identify the specific groups of customers you'll focus on your research. Okay, this is where you select your customer segment. We already have this in our previous classes. So an example again is a coffee shop. The coffee shop chooses to focus on college students and young professionals as their main young customer groups. So that is how they segment their customers. Now we have step 1, step 2, step 3. Now we have step 4. Determine information availability. Now the purpose here is to check if some of the needed information already exists through reports, study, or company data. Now we need to determine information availability because this would actually help our market research process. Now again, let's go back to our example coffee shop. The coffee shop might review past surveys or industry reports about youth coffee trends to see if they cover relevant insights. Now, when you're making actually a research, you need to have a bit of a background or like a copy or like a basis of your information. Now, let's proceed to step 5. Now, we understand here na. So, let's proceed to step 5. Step 5 is choose data collection method. Now, the purpose here is decide on how you gather those new information if the required data isn't available. Now, going back to step 4, if the research isn't available, step 5 would actually foresee that you need more information when it comes to choosing on your data collection method, so you have a little bit of a background when it comes to talking about this kind of stuff. So going back to the example, the survey of the coffee shop decided to conduct a short in-person surveys with college students and set up a small focus groups. So this would actually help the coffee shop to already know what the problem, or because they're choosing why young students or young professionals don't go to their coffee shop. So that's an example. Now, let's proceed to step 6. Select the sample population. Now, select the sample population. The purpose here is to choose a representative of a people from the customer segment to participate in the research. Now, you have going back to step 3, right? That select the customer segment. You need to select the customer segment so that they can participate. Okay, so going back to the example, the coffee shop selects 100 students from a nearby campuses, ensuring a mix of ages and coffee preferences. So you would able to know what's wrong with the business itself when you survey. Survey actually help a lot. Okay, so now let's proceed to step 7. Conduct the research. Now, conduct the research is collect the data through the chosen methods. Going back to step 6, you already have conducted a survey. Now you collect those because it would actually help Now, going back to the coffee shop surveys students and hosts a focus group and ask questions like, what type of coffee do you prefer? I prefer coffee that is not too sweet, not too salty. It's just okay. Okay? Now, and a question of like, what would you make, or what would make you choose our shop over the others? If those are your questions, of course, you would actually say, I would choose your shop because of the ambience, not the ambience, but also the coffee itself. I like the coffee. Especially me, when I like something from a shop, I would like mukbang like that. Okay? Now let's proceed to step 8. Now step 8 is do the analysis. Now the purpose here is to organize and interpret the data to find patterns and insights. Now you'll find patterns and insights of your research. Now the example here is analyzing shows that students prefer iced coffee. Of course, I prefer iced coffee before, but now medyo lalo sa coffee cannot palpitations. And want a quieter, a comfortable study area which the shop currently lacks. So we already find what's the problem, because no younger students would actually come to their coffee shop because they question right na, ano wala mo rin sa akong coffee shop? Why is it no one will go to my coffee shop? Now you would actually have an answer na that you lack a lot from making those survey. Now step 9, actually there's no step 9 in the PowerPoint, but step 9 is make decisions. Making decision here is the use of insight that makes informed decision to solve the problem. Now, going back to the example, the coffee shop decides to introduce a quieter study area and iced coffee options to attract more younger customers. Now, in our generation, a lot of us would actually want iced than hot. We're not millennials. We're Gen Zs, and we loved iced coffee, and that's what's good about it. And now that's all for the marketing research process. I hope you understand something, and I'll be passing the floor to the next reporter. Thank you.
So, the problem oriented research method is a systematic approach designed to identify and solve specific issues within a business or industry. It begins with clearly defining the problem, understanding its symptoms, and identifying the roots of causes. Once the problem is well defined, a detailed research plan is developed outlining the objectives, methods, and resources needed for the study. This plan includes deciding whether to use primary data collected firsthand or secondary data existing information. Data collection follows using appropriate methods such as surveys, interviews, focus groups, observations, or experiments to gather relevant information. The collected data is then analyzed to identify patterns, trends, and insights that can help understand the problem better. This analysis involves both statistical and qualitative techniques to ensure a comprehensive understanding of the issue. The findings from the data analysis are interpreted and compiled into a report that clearly communicates the insights, conclusions, and recommendations. This report serves as a basis for making informed decisions to address the problem. The final step involves implementing and recommended changes, continuously monitoring the outcomes to evaluate their effectiveness. Adjustments are made as necessary to optimize the solution and ensure the problem is effectively resolved. This method ensures that Research efforts are focused, efficient, and directly address the specific problems faced by business, leading to practical and actionable solutions. So, solution oriented market research is a proactive method to enhance business performance by identifying opportunities for growth. It involves defining objectives, focus on innovation, creating a detailed plan for data collection, surveys, interviews, focus groups, gathering and analyzing data to reveal insights, and compiling a report with actionable recommendations. The strategies are then implemented and monitored to this approach. They contribute effectively to the business goals with adjustments made as needed. This approach helps business not only address current challenges but also seize future opportunities for success.
Hierarchy of new service categories is the process of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting information about a market, including insights into potential customers, competitors, and the industry as a whole. So, innovation is at the heart of service evolution, whether it is a small adjustment or a groundbreaking transformation. Businesses must continuously innovate to meet customers' expectations, adapt to market trends, and stay competitive. Let's dive into the seven types of innovative services, each with its unique role and shaping how services are delivered and experienced. So the first one is style changes. So style changes are the simplest form of innovation, focusing on aesthetic or superficial updates to a service. These changes don't alter the core functionality or purpose but give the service a fresh and updated appearance. So an example of this is a retail store updates its logo and signage or changes its interior or exterior design to match the modern trends. And it matters because these updates can attract new customers and rekindle interest among existing ones and help a brand stay relevant in a competitive market. And the next one is service improvements. And this type of innovation involves refining or upgrading the existing service to enhance its quality, reliability, and user experience. And an example of this is adding more comfortable seating and also better in-flight entertainment or improved customer service. And by doing this, it improves keeping the customers satisfied and loyal while allowing the business to maintain a competitive edge by exceeding customers' expectations. And the next one is supplementary service innovations. So these innovations involve adding extra services to enhance the core offering, making it more appealing and convenient for customers. And they don't replace the main service but provide additional value. So an example is a gym. A gym introducing a mobile app that lets members schedule classes, track workouts, and receive personalized training plans. And it matters because these innovations boost the customer satisfaction by addressing unmet needs and providing more value, often increasing customers' retention and willingness to pay premium prices.
Moving on, we'll be talking about process line extensions. This type of innovation focuses on offering alternative methods or channels for delivering a service or product, catering to different customer needs and preferences. An example of this is a food delivery service adding options for dine-in reservations or self-pickup alongside delivery. Next is product line extensions. Product line extensions involve creating new variations or options within an existing category, catering to specific customer segments or preferences. So same with process line extensions, but this comes with products. An example is a streaming service introducing tiered subscription plans such as ad-supported, standard, or premium options. Number 6, major process innovations. These are significant changes to how a service is delivered, often involving the adoption of new technologies or methodologies that redefine operations. An example of this is a healthcare provider implementing telemedicine services to enable virtual consultations. And lastly, number 7, major service innovations. This is the most radical form of service innovation. Involve the creations of entirely new services that often redefine industries or create new ones. An example of this is the introduction of subscription-based services like Netflix, which changed the way people consume entertainment. The reason why it matters is because these innovations disrupt traditional markets, sets a new industry standard, and creates long-term growth opportunities for businesses willing to take bold steps.
Achieving success in new service development. Operations is not resistant to high failure rates. Philippine Airlines, for instance, has been one of the big operators seeking to operate a separate low-cost carrier to deal with discount operators such as AirAsia's and Cebu Pacific Airlines. Neither, however, was successful. In banking, several banks have attempted to market insurance policies in the hopes of growing the amount of lucrative client partnerships. But many of these policy extensions have struggled. There are numerous cases for loss, including failure to satisfy customer demands, inability to pay revenue expenses, and a poor execution. For example, a restaurant sector report showed a failure rate of 26% in the first year, rising about 60% in 3 years. A variety of studies have found that the 3 following variables are the most effective. So the first variable would be market synergy. Organizations can increase their chances by creating innovative, customer-centric, and profitable service. And the second would be organizational factors. So in organizational factors, fostering a culture of innovation, providing strong leadership support, optimizing organizational structure, implementing effective processes, and investing in employee skills.
Hi, this is Xelianne Jaculbe. To proceed with the discussion, we delve deeper into the third key variable, market research factors. Market research is a critical factor in achieving success in launching new products, and not just in products but also in services. It involves gathering the right data in the early planning process to be able to form a clear and successful product idea. Now, many businesses fail because they are not able to understand what their customers value the most. Companies like the Philippine Airlines tried to introduce new low-cost carriers to be able to compete with Cebu Pacific and AirAsia. However, they struggled with identifying and addressing what their target customers need the most. As such, thorough research process helps companies avoid these mistakes by understanding what their customers' needs and market conditions from the start. Under market research, it highlights these 3 key points. First is the early planning process or the market research. A successful market research is not just about guessing, it's about gathering facts. Before conducting field surveys, businesses need to have a solid understanding of what kind of information they should collect. This step ensures that their product idea is based on real insights and not just hunches. For example, Starbucks research on flavor trends and customer preferences to introduce new drinks that are likely and mostly to succeed. Second is we have the idea generation and quality. Ideas can come from 2 sources, experts within the company and the customers themselves. Experts provide practical ideas that are easier to implement. On the other hand, customers often contribute creative and unique suggestions. This mix of perspectives enriches the development process. Third, and the last, but not the least, is the innovation collaborations. The rise of collaboration platforms opens up to new opportunities. By inviting the public or specific groups to share ideas, businesses can uncover innovative concepts at a lower cost. For instance, we have the My Starbucks idea. This is a platform of Starbucks which allows the users and their Starbucks fans to be able to comment, vote, or share their ideas on their preferences or suggestions to new flavor or drink that they would like. Now, market research is more than just a step in product development. It is the foundation of success. By planning early, gathering objective data, combining ideas from various sources, and companies can significantly improve their chances of creating products and services that would resonate with their customers. That would be all for this discussion. Thank you.
To summarize our report, marketing analysis is the process of collecting, reviewing, and comparing information. The 8 steps in the market research process are defining the customer problem, determining the information needed, selecting the customer segments, determining information availability, choosing data collection methods, selecting sample population, conducting the research, and lastly, doing the analysis. Additionally, the hierarchy of new service development, also called as NSTs, includes style changes, service improvements, supplementary service innovations, process line extensions, product line extensions, major process innovations, and major service innovation. Last but not the least, the 3 key success factors in order to achieve success in new service development are market synergy, organizational factors, and market research factors.